Colts Talk presented by Prize Picks. I was taking a look at some of the numbers recently on the channel. People watching, people spending hours checking out Colts Talk. 75% of you are watching but not subscribed. What are we doing here? It's free to subscribe. Daily Colts content. We're covering your team for you for free, so be sure to hit that sub button. We got very interesting news today on the Indianapolis Colts. This is a very complex, interesting, and a situation to kind of roll through, and it doesn't seem like it's something that's going to be done today. So looking, one of the most polarizing names right now in the NFL, one of the most mentioned names, Terrion Arnold, who has recently gotten in some legal trouble. We'll break that down in just a second. We got reports today, actually from his lawyer in court, announced that multiple teams have had interest in Terrion Arnold, the Colts being one of them. We now have learned he's worked out for the Texans, and that went very well. And then his lawyer also noting she predicts that Arnold will be signed within 45 days. The next 45 days, she's predicting. You can see Texans, Colts, Seahawks, Jets, some contenders, some non-contenders willing to take a chance on Terrion Arnold. The big key fact you got to keep in mind here, currently facing robbery and kidnapping charges at this point in time. So he's recently released by the Lions. They let him go. An immediate interest around the league. I mean, I could not believe it. But yeah, facing robbery and kidnapping charges. We'll get more into the legal situation here in just a second. A former first-round pick with Detroit. He's been tasked with doing a lot of different things with the Lions defense. The biggest deal with him and the Lions defense, he's been tasked with playing a lot of man-to-man. That's been his deal. You kind of look at some of the stats. You look at some of the things going on with Terrion Arnold. You say to yourself, is this a good corner? What he has to do is a tall task in Detroit with the amount of man coverage. And really, we know that Detroit's defense, not necessarily a good defense in general, but I think Arnold's held his own enough to be an okay NFL player and a guy that's still, probably developing. A 2024 first-round pick, you'd like more out of him over the years at this point in time. Solid in coverage, but probably not overly great, not first-round development. We're looking at other players, and especially right now, the Colts have Charvarius Ward and Sauce Gardner to compare him to, right? So when you get in a room with those guys, it's going to look a little different. People are going to be able to see you as a different player in general. So what I will say is former first-round pick, legal trouble, but interest absolutely around the league. And the Colts, one of the teams that have reached out about Terrion Arnold. Question is, should the Colts sign Terrion Arnold? We're leaving it up to you guys. Type S for sign, P for pass. Let us know what you think. Get down into the comment section. This will be our pinned comment, so you'll see it right there at the top. All you got to do, answer the question. Now, Arnold's legal situation at this point in time actually going his way at the moment. He did just have a situation where they wanted him to wear an ankle monitor. He's not going to do that. He will be at home, though. He's still able to work out for teams at this point in time. So some positives for him, plus the NFL interest. However, still a mess, right? Sorting through some major charges there, some major accusations, and definitely going to have to go forward with some serious court stuff. We have some details to add to it from Pro Football Talk that I'll get to in just 1 second. But first, today's show is presented by Prize Picks. America's #1 sports picks app gives you the opportunity to win cash while watching sports. The lineups on there are so easy to put together. That's my favorite part about it. You just pick more or less on a few player stats. You pick the names, you pick the stats, more or less. Boom, you have your lineup set up and ready to roll on Prize Picks. You can do that daily, season long. Also, before we continue with today's show, I want to show you a lineup we've been tracking from yesterday. Yon Berenger, we went more on points, rebounds, assists in his summer league performance yesterday. We got that one, good to go. AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson, again, summer league action. Combined 2 star players' points, got it. Darius Acuff, that's red for a reason there. We went more on 21.5 points for Darius Acuff. The only problem with Darius Acuff, 6 of 20 shooting yesterday, not what you want to see from him. Right now, with Prize Picks, we have a new user offer for you guys. All you have to do, download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comment section and description. Then use code HMA. That'll get you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, because on Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So, yes, the legal situation is going to be a big part of Terrion Arnold. And as we said, NFL interest is there. Kind of where things stand is definitely an interesting situation. Here's what Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio had to say earlier today about the situation. The next question will be whether any of those teams will confirm their interest in Arnold or even act on it. Often, a player who works out for a team isn't promptly signed. He's not going to be signed. He's not going to be signed by that team, at least not in the immediate future. The other question looming over Arnold is whether the NFL will place him on the commissioner exempted list. They leave if a team has a season has reason to think that's coming, it will have less reason to sign him. So that's a big part of this as well. And then noted here, regardless, the testimony worked. The judge denied the prosecution's motion. Arnold will not be required to wear a GPS device. He remains confined to his home with the exception of work and meetings with his attorneys, which again, at working out for the Texans, all these other NFL teams, kind of an interesting situation. Look, Terrion Arnold is interesting to me because I like the duo the Colts have at corner, right? Sauce Gardner, Charvarius Ward. I like those two guys. I'm very excited about them. I think they're going to do a lot of work for the Colts in general. We do know the Colts have a sort of nickel corner position battle going on right now. Justin Wally in the lead. Cameron Mitchell could be there. Mekhi Blackman could be involved. Austin Brown. Like, there's names in the mix for the nickel position. But will I say with Arnold, unless Arnold's set to play the nickel position or adapt because he hasn't played a ton of it, I'm not sure that he's going to start for Indy. Is kind of the situation here. So unless he's going to come in and they think he can learn the nickel position and be a nickel corner for the Colts, I don't see him as a starter. That means he's just going to provide depth to the secondary in general. Look, former first-round pick, adding him to a group in your quarterback room, that could be interesting, right? And there's a lot of potential there, still some development that needs to be done there. But my question is, do the Colts need the trouble? You do the workout, then you're waiting on this court case, you're battling with that team to sign him, this team to sign him. Seems like a lot of trouble for a guy that's only going to add depth to your defense. More top 10. Yes, that's right. We showed you Sauce and Jonathan Taylor. ESPN surveying the league. It's not ESPN's list strictly. They're surveying, executives, coaches, scouts, help them rank the top 10 at each position. Sauce was on there, number 9 for the corners. JT was a top 5 running back. Tyler Warren, that's right, a top 10 tight end for the NFL, right? This is a league-wide survey, a league-wide vote at this point in time. Second-year tight end, heading in, and he's landing at spot number 5 coming up here for the Indianapolis Colts. Before we get to the full list, I did want to let you know, here's how the voting went for Tyler Warren in general to land at number 5. Highest he was ranked was 3rd, the 3rd best tight end in the league, and the lowest still in the top 10 at number 10. Tyler Warren with some real hype here across the NFL on this voting. Again, just 24 years old, which this should also be a reminder about Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner's got a couple years in the league. He's 24 years old as Warren enters his 2nd year. Again, wasn't ranked last season. Taking a look at the top 10 tight ends according to ESPN, again, with their scouting surveys, executive scouts, all breaking down some of your more notable tight ends. And my vibe with the tight end room, top 10 tight ends, you look at this room, I noted this on one of our other channels when I was talking about it. These are guys drafted, developed, paid by their teams, right? So it would be great to see Tyler Warren get an extension and play many years for the Colts the same way these other guys are playing for their teams, getting new contracts on the team for many years. I love that Tyler Warren is on this list in general. Here's what an NFC scout said. And again, this is after 1 year as in the NFL. He lived up to expectations. He's a true Y who can handle the point of attack, run game assignments, but carry over his versatile game-impacting receiving ability that showed up during his Penn State days. Great stuff there. Good national recognition for Tyler Warren in general, and I think that's really exciting. And Colts fans should be excited about a situation like this, with Tyler Warren landing at number 5 on the top 10 tight ends list. My question: how do you feel about Tyler Warren's ranking? He comes in at number 5 in the top 10. Do me a favor, type 1 for too high, 2 for too low, or type 3 for just right if you think he's good at 5, top 10, or top 5 tight end in general. Be sure to read that carefully and answer it down in the comment section below. another extra fun tidbit that we can kind of go over here on Colts Talk in general. And again, I just want to roll through this because we're trying to get to training camp. So we're talking about interesting, fun things we've seen. NFL.com had the Colts on their list of teams they believe are going to possibly end their playoff drought in 2026. There's a couple of, other teams haven't been there in a minute, haven't been there in a while, need to get back. They believe the Colts are one of those teams that can make it happen. I've got all the details on that in just 1 second. But first, Colts fans, I know you're excited to watch NFL football once again. You want to watch it in person. That's why we want to give a major shout out to the sponsor of today's show. That is SeatGeek. That's right. With the MLB in full swing, football is getting closer and closer. And by the way, you can get World Cup tickets on SeatGeek while it's in the U.S. It's always the app I recommend to my friends. When you talk about going to a game, I know we'll be using it for Colts games coming up here, concerts, other things like that. We throw the link to the app in our chat. Next thing you know, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. All you got to do, you see the green, you're getting a good deal. Green's good. You see the red. Red means bad. Plus, as I said, each ticket rated on a scale of 1 to 10. And, of course, I have a code for you guys on today's show, and this is whether you're a new or existing user. You can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description and download the app. That'll have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks, SeatGeek. So, as I said, NFL.com, a little bit of belief that the Colts could end their playoff drought. And I think that's really fun, and the idea that they're one of those teams that just haven't been back in a minute, need to get back. I think that's an interesting aspect to this. So here's what Jeremy Bergman said about the Colts. The Colts live in purgatory, hovering around 8-9 or 9-8 every season, no matter who's under center or how recently they retired. The question at quarterback isn't who will be the starter, but how healthy will he be as the newly extended Daniel Jones returns from his leg injury to the QB1 Colts role. With a .465 strength of schedule that's tied for 28th in the NFL, the Colts are in a good position to challenge once again for the AFC South title. A lighter back half of the schedule gives Indy a break after last year's second half collapse, 7 straight losses there at the 8-2 start. But with the first 3 seasons of the Shane Steichen era, there is always the possibility the Colts once again won't get over the hump. Making the playoffs for the Indianapolis Colts should absolutely be the number one priority in general. And I understand, that's one of those things where it's no duh. But making the playoffs, don't worry about the division. Don't worry about how young or old your team is. Don't worry about this, that, or the other. Gotta get to the playoffs. That's what it should all be about in the 2026 season. Jobs are depending on it. I mean that, jobs. Whose jobs? Well, as NFL.com talked about, Shane Steichen. Not enough success in 3 years as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. You do have injuries. You have the Anthony Richardson situations. You got excuses, no doubt about it. But you'll rack up your 4th year here, and is it going to say 0 playoff appearances, 0 AFC South titles? Is it going to say that once again? That strikes me as somebody that can't get it done. Chris Ballard, I don't think I have to make the argument with you guys here. Entering season 10, below 500 record, does have 2 playoff appearances, but he'll have had 10 years as the GM of the Colts and will have not won the division. Crazy. That is absolutely crazy to me, and definitely has to change this upcoming season. My opinion here, the Colts don't make the playoffs, clean house. Make the playoffs or clean house in this upcoming season. NFL.com thinks they can do it. I think they can do it. I think there's a way they can make it happen, but if they don't, maybe time for some serious changes.